Hi, how you doing? Could be a very bad omen coming in on a Wednesday.
No, we like it. Thank you.
I know. I'm not sure I like it. We'll see what the result is Sunday and
That's fair.
plan accordingly going forward. But Stacy asked.
Very much appreciated.
Thank you
No
for
problem.
your time.
Thank you.
I had a question right out of the chutes. You work really hard to earn your job. Do you ever feel territorial about it?
About keeping my job?
Yeah.
I think that's the nature of this position, and it's a very competitive position, and I think it's a great privilege. I've always felt, when a team trusts you to be the quarterback and they put the ball in your hands, it's a great show of trust that they have in you, and I think you need to earn it every day. So I don't think you can rest on things that have happened in the past or things that people may project on you. You just have to go out and try to, you're tasked with a big burden to help the offense, be in the right play. You touch the ball in every play, so you have the opportunity to distribute it how you see fit. So with that trust comes a lot of responsibility, and I think that's a big responsibility I take with me.
You mentioned earlier this week on the radio just that you'll never get used to it. And that's just the climate of the NFL. They're always looking to improve, replace.
Yeah.
How is your relationship different with a guy like Jarrett than it would be with Brian? Because they're clearly at different stages of their careers.
Yeah.
And we on the outside spend a lot of time wondering about that.
Yeah. Well, I was a young player once too, and I had a lot of older players that I worked with. So I think I learned from those experiences, and I had some great mentors, people that really taught me how to play the position. And it was great at a young age to have John Freeze and Drew, and then to have Damon Heward, and then to have Vinny, and to have Doug. And then all of a sudden it flipped, and then it got, Matt Castle to Brian to Jimmy.
Don't forget Matt Cougar.
Good was in there for a little bit. So I played with so many great guys over the years. And, I think for quarterback, it's my belief that, when you play a team sport, the best guy plays because that's what's best for the team. And then the other guys support that position. And that's because there's, it used to be a lot of quarterbacks played. I've been studying up on NFL history this off season, but they used to have a lot of two quarterback systems, and if you had talent at that position, you used it in different ways. And it's over the years, I dealt with that a little bit in college. And then as now it's progressed, it's more one guy plays, and the other guys support that position the best way they can in whatever role they're asked to do. And that's just kind of the way it's gone.
Was there ever a sense of nervousness with this first game because you don't know how offense is going to play, and you're playing, both teams are kind of just throwing stuff up in the air to see how they're going to react? Yeah,
I think there's a lot of, I think you work a long time to get to this point, and these outcomes are very unpredictable because you have, the competitive landscape of the league, and you have these other teams that are working extremely hard to beat us. I mean, we don't know how it's going to go. I mean, you put up a plan, you think it's going to work, or else you wouldn't have confidence in it. And then you get into the ring, so to speak, and then you go after you go at it. And they're going to show us a lot of things that we haven't seen, and that's the way early part of the season football goes. And eventually, teams settle into what they're going to be and what they feel confident in and what they're doing kind of a good job at, and what they're, your identity begins to take shape. And then it changes. Guys come in and out of lineup, they're hurt. Some guys are having better years than expected. Some guys aren't. And you guys are pretty close today. We're right here. That's all right.
Tom,
I feel like I'm in Los Angeles right now.
Sunday night
Walking down the
obviously is
street.
going to be a special night. The banner, the opening night. Seeing the Steelers on the schedule, opening with them, does that make it any more special too? What's it like facing the Steelers in that first game?
Yeah, it's pretty great. We've had a great rivalry against those guys and played a lot of meaningful games. We played at their stadium quite a bit the last few years, so it's good to get them here. And I think our home crowd is, we got a great home crowd that puts a lot of pressure on their offensive side of the ball to make their communication really solid. But they're a great football team. They have a great history. One of the best defenses still to this day in the history of the league. And, Big Ben, what he's continued to do and how that offense has evolved over time. And I have a lot of respect for Coach Tomlin, how he coaches, and, what he demands out of his players. They got a great defensive front. They play extremely hard. Great group of linebackers, talented secondary. So very difficult team to play against. They stress you in a lot of areas, and we've got to be at the top of our game early in the season, as do they, which makes it a great matchup.
There's only two franchises that have 6 Super Bowl rings, the Steelers and you guys. Is it going to be a fun? Do you ever think, boy, I'd like to beat them to number 7?
I think it's pretty cool that we have an opportunity to. Those are great lofty goals, and the expectations are high here for us, and they're high for them. And I think other franchises have established themselves as winning cultures and winning teams and winning environments, and other teams are trying to get there. So the NFL's tough. Every team starts at the bottom every year, and you can't pick up where you left off last year. You have to earn it every day, and the competition has already started. Even though there hasn't been games, there's been competition starting. How well you can get your team prepared for this opening game, and it continues right through the end of the year.
Tom, what are you talking about with Tom here about being the older guy now?
Yep, you guys are kind of old too, so I'm not the only old guy in here, just for the record.
That's right.
That's
Thanks
right.
for pointing that
I
out.
know.
Along those lines, you have a chance to do something that no one's ever done before at this stage of one's career, to start all 16 regular season games. How meaningful would it be for you to accomplish something that no one has ever done before?
Well, I love being available to the team. I think that's been something I feel like is a very important part of my job. And I can't help the team if I'm not out there. And, I work pretty hard to make sure that I am. A lot of that prep comes in advance. Has been well documented over the years. So being out there, and I think one thing I've gained over many years is appreciation for doing things that I love to do, and how fortunate I am to have found a profession that, I love the little nuances to the position, the nuances to the sport, to the scheme, the chess match between offenses and defenses. So many great players have played this game, and to still be doing it is something that I treasure. And I love being quarterback for this team, and hopefully I can stay healthy. There's a lot of things that go into that. You take some pretty tough hits, as many people do over the course of the season, and there's some luck that's involved. But try to put myself in a position where I can withstand those hits and the physical nature of the game, so I can go out there and be there for my team each week.
Tom, talking about that is that you look at the offensive line, with Isaiah and with Teddy. How do you balance the sense of urgency? But hey, you guys can get the job done here. We're a work in progress, but you got to get the job done as well.
Yeah, I think everyone, they feel the same way. So, this is their profession too. They want to do a great job for our team. They're really well coached. There's high expectation for that position group. And there's been a lot of great players that have played those positions for us, that are watching, that are paying attention. And, the guys who are playing now, Isaiah and Ted, they know they've got big responsibility, and they're prepared for it. And I think they're excited about their opportunity, and they want to go make the best of it.
Last year's loss in Pittsburgh, what do you remember about it?
Well, it was obviously not one of our most well-played games. We had opportunities there in the red area late in the game twice and came away with no points. We set ourselves back quite a bit in long yardage situations, a lot of self-inflicted errors. The interception I threw was, a really bad play. And we had our chances, but there's a team that if you get opportunities like that, you have to put points on the board. You have to take advantage of the opportunities that you're going to get. If you don't, they're too good, and they got too many good players, too many good coaches. A great scheme that puts a lot of pressure on you. So we're going to need to play. We're going to need to play a great 60 minutes in all three phases. That's really what they are. They're one of the best teams in the AFC. They've proven that year after year. And, we're going to be tested right off the bat.
After that game, you guys didn't lose another game. You went 5-0, including the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Even though this is week one, could this be another springboard for you guys?
We always want to get off to a fast start. And, we've struggled at times doing that. I mean, I think the thing is these games early in the year, they count the same ones as late in the year. So you can't start slow, because you start slow, you're fighting your way out of a hole the whole year. So I wish there was some secret play we could call that, would work, and we know it would work, and we got to go out there and earn it. I mean, this is about hard work, and it's about discipline, it's about consistency, about execution, about, pressure and applying it. And, it's a big test. So we can't go out there and play an average game and expect to score a lot of points. This team challenges you, at their defensive front, their speed at linebacker. They drafted a great player from Michigan, Devin Bush. And, I've watched a lot of him over the years. They've got a good secondary, a lot of interceptors in the secondary. So you have to play a really clean game.
Is it harder to go tempo when you have guys who are just coming back or just coming into the system to really speed it up?
I'd say it's a pretty hard thing to do in general in the NFL over a long season, because there's a limited roster size. There's obviously a lot of new players you're trying to incorporate. There's a lot of conditioning aspects that come into, 45 active players on the roster. When I was at Michigan a few years ago, they had 5 tight ends in there at the game at one point, and then they ran them off, and they ran 5 receivers on, and those aren't a part of pro football. So in general, the times we've done it, it's been great for us, but I think you've also got to, it's a long game, it's a long season, and, it's a challenge.
Yeah.
It's a challenge.
Is there some trepidation on your part, considering that you haven't had the opportunity to spend a ton of time with Demarius, at least on the field, throwing to him? Even Julian didn't come back until recently. Josh obviously just got here, so some of your, if we review your primary guys,
Yeah.
you haven't had a chance to practice with them a lot this year.
Yeah, and that's it's part of the part of football. It's a challenging thing, and that's why it's not always as fluid as you would hope it to be, because you prepare for 8 months for this game, and then you're getting used to guys who we haven't really played with, or we signed 3 or 4 new players at the end of cuts that that are backups to different positions, and they don't have any experience. But look, we're going to try to work as hard as we can, like we always do. And I don't think this team ever feels like we're a finished product, and I don't think we finished many practices and Coach Belichick's been like, man, we got this all figured out. I think we're trying to work at it every single day and put the time and effort and energy and commitment into it for each other. And you see how that pays off after a long season. And the season's not over in 2 weeks. The season's not over at the end of September or October or November. It's a long year, and we got to make improvements up to this point. I hope we made a lot of improvements since the beginning of training camp. But again, I think that's going to work all the way through the entire season too. And, we'd like to, like I said, win these games because they're all important. They all matter. And but we're going to have to go earn it.
You guys have had a lot of success
Last question.
throwing to
Please.
backs.
You over there on your iPad? What are we doing over there?
Early season form.
I know.
Angry Birds.
Sorry.
You've had a lot of success throwing to backs over the course of the last several years.
Yeah.
Teams like the Steelers with Bush, who you mentioned, and
Yep.
Barron, seems like they're trying to get more athletic at the second level.
Yeah.
How challenging does it make it for you guys to continue to utilize those backs in the way that you've liked to?
Yeah. I think a lot of teams have more hybrid type of roles than probably what they were when I first started. Where they were like a base defense and then a sub defense. And now I think we have a lot of those guys that can rush, that can cover, guys that, Mark Barron started in the secondary at Tampa and then now played linebacker for the Rams last year. So we have experience with those type of players. We have backs that catch a lot of passes, line up in a lot of different spots, tight ends that line up in a lot of different spots. So it's more of a yeah, I'd say a game of that now. There's more personnel groupings. Guys are, utilize formationing, and, they're finding defenders to, counteract the skill set of the offensive players too. So, you have a tight end that's a great run blocker and a great pass catcher. Well, now they have people to cover that guy, but also play against the run too. That goes for, linebackers, secondary types. But people are trying to use their best athletes out there and get as much skill and size as they can, and to create matchups, whatever they feel are the best to help their team win. So thank you guys.
Thanks a lot, appreciate it.